And here we go. Okay. So finding a comfortable way to rest, either sitting or lying down, whatever suits you this morning. And you can always change, right? If it doesn't feel right, move it around, prop yourself up to start if you need to. Using the exhales to release, to allow the body to rest into the support or onto the support of the earth. Using the breath as your anchor, bringing you back to the moment, to your body, resting on the earth. Without changing the breath, just allowing your natural rhythm to flow. Just noticing where you feel the breath settle. Maybe where you feel the inhales. Where is the body opening to accept the breath? Aware of the breath. It's with you all the time, every moment of your life. But when we focus on it, we allow a peace as we tap into that side of the nervous system. There's a release and a softening. And if you listen, you can feel it, hear it in your body. If you allow the breath to guide you, you allow that release, there's a deep settling into the moment. Become aware of the breath. Let go of the thoughts, of the stories, and just breathe. And maybe there was something that brought you to your practice this morning, a hope and intention for your mind, your body, your spirit. Shortening that to a word or a phrase and placing it in an I am statement. Repeating it softly to yourself a few times as if it were true and already happening. Gently drawing your focus back to watching the breath. The breath flows in through the tip of the nose, fills the lungs, and then leaves out through the tip of the nose. One breath following the next, with just a gentle pause between the breaths. And as we move through the practice today, it's the breath that will guide us to bring us back to the awareness of the body, rooted to the earth, flowing with the breath, whether that's flowing in stillness or flowing in movement, to find a place to rest. To let go of the efforting and find the ease. And with your next inhale, maybe the arms extend out to either side or overhead, or somewhere between the two. Opening up through the heart space and the length of the body, maybe flexing the feet if your legs are extended, and then pointing the toes. And with your exhale, floating the arms to either side of the hips or bending them at the elbows and tapping the center of your chest. And inhaling, expanding, opening, and exhaling, fingertips to chest or the earth. Just linking simple movement with breath. A reminder that the breath initiates the movement. We move throughout the breath. There's a pause and then we begin again. Allowing the breath to guide us. Letting go of any expectations of what the practice might bring and being open to whatever you experience. Nice, and then settling the arms to either side of the hips. Inhaling there, filling the front and back of the heart space, and exhaling one knee and then the other draws in for a hug. Maybe your hands clasp in back of the thighs. Soften through the shoulders, and maybe you get some movement, maybe rocking or making small circles. What feels right for you. Starting to get to know what you've brought to your practice. And then finding stillness there, allowing the feet to float to the earth, knees to ceiling. The heels are in alignment with the sitting bones, and maybe you can walk them a little closer so they're under the knees. The alignment helps to keep you safe, right? But we don't need to be obsessive about it. Just notice how it feels for you to lie on the earth. The soles of the feet rooted. The shoulder blades slide a little closer to the center of the back and away from the ears. Maybe a little flatter under the heart space, resting on the earth, and they're active. And with your inhale, as you root to the feet and the shoulders, the sacrum lifts, the hips lift towards the ceiling, and with your exhale, it floats down. Your practice, maybe you're moving into a rolling bridge, maybe you're staying right here, just lifting the hips an inch or two, exploring the opening of the front body, and then using that front body, engaging it to lower back down to the earth. Inhaling, back body supports you to open the front body. Exhaling, slowly lowering down. Experimenting with moving deeper or not. What happens when you move past your edge? Where do the thoughts go? Can you allow them to float away for now and just focus on the breath and allow it to guide you? Maybe 2 more rounds like this. As you inhale and the hips lift, the heart pops up towards the chin for a deeper opening. And the exhale, we try and work a wave of vertebra to one at a time, lower to the earth without forcing the curve out of the lower back. Maybe you're trying something different today, exploring a different way. The next time the hips settle onto the earth, find some stillness there. And exhale the left knee in for a hug, interlacing the fingers in back of the thigh or maybe the shin, but careful of the shoulders, soften them, no efforting. With your exhale, root the sacrum to the earth. So now there's equal weight in both sides of the hips and the belly is gathered in and up. With your inhale, the arms extend, that knee backs away from you, just arm's length. Exhale, hug it gently in. Where's your edge? Are you forcing or allowing? It can be as big or small of a movement as you need. Keeping the bind of the interlaced fingers or not. Aware of the muscles that are working and letting go of the muscles that don't need to. Softening the jaw, and the eyes. And the next time you inhale, allow that leg to extend straight up to the ceiling. Reach into that heel, make some circles through the ankle. And reverse the circles. Fan the toes out, curl them in. And bend the knee and float that foot to the earth. And when you're ready, exhaling sacrum to earth and right knee draws in for a hug. And maybe this side's a little different, and so you clasp your hands a little differently and soften through the shoulders. And when you're ready, moving in and out at the hip, knee softening away with the inhale, belly expanding, exhaling, gathering the belly, thigh towards it. Experimenting with this side. Are you hiking up the hip with that exhale? Or are you simply moving the leg in the hip socket? Just noticing the subtle connections in the body. The whole body wants to work together. And then finding stillness there, and with your next inhale, that leg extends straight up to the ceiling and making some circles in this ankle. Maybe noticing the sides a little different. Reverse the circles. And fan the toes out and curl them in. Allowing the breath to guide this movement. And then finding stillness there and bending that knee and floating it to the earth. Walking the feet the width of the mat. And with your next exhale, both knees float over to the left. With your inhale, they come up to center. With your exhale to the right. Taking that reclined windshield wiper. Exploring, experimenting with this twist. And how does it feel in your lower back, your hips, your outer thighs, your inner thighs? What do you notice? Can you keep the shoulders soft and resting on the earth? Can you let go of all efforting and find the ease? Just allowing gravity to draw the legs over, not pushing them to the earth or forcing a shape that you're not ready for. And the next time you inhale up, find some stillness there. And extend one leg and then the other straight out onto the floor in front of you. Inhaling the left arm alongside your ear or somewhere in that direction, out to the side, and then breathe into the side body. Hips stay resting on the earth, shoulders stay flat on the earth. As we open up through the side body by walking both legs straight out and over. And maybe the shoulders shift just a little to the right, if that's possible, for a deeper opening as you allow the breath to fill the left side body. And then inhaling, both legs walk to center, that arm floats down, inhaling, filling the front and back of the heart space, and exhale, draw the knees in for a hug. As you rock from side to side, you get that spine back into alignment, hopefully. And then allow the feet to float to the earth and extend straight out in front of you. Inhaling the right arm alongside your ear or somewhere in that direction, out to the side, or not at all. Finding the breath in the side body. And when you're ready, walking both legs over to the left. Allowing the breath to move into that space you've created. A deep opening on the right side body. using the breath to guide you to move a little deeper. Maybe the breath moves deeper. Maybe you're able to move the body. Different ways of going deeper, letting the thoughts go, surrendering to this pose to allow for that lengthening. With your inhale, walking the legs back to center and floating that right arm alongside your hips. And exhaling, drawing those knees in for a hug and getting some movement. And then finding stillness there, allowing the feet to float to the floor and rolling over onto one side or the other. The knees draw up close to the chest or closer to the chest. The thighs against the belly, as your anatomy allows, a deep opening through the lower back. And maybe you shift the shoulders a little forward of the hips for a rounding through the upper back without compressing the front body. There's no efforting, just a rest. The forehead maybe comes in the direction of the knees without closing off the throat. And from the base of the skull to the tip of the tailbone, we lengthen, allow a lengthening to the entire back body. We allow space between the vertebrae without compression, without forcing anything, and the breath fills that space so that you can feel the inhales fill the space in back of the heart. You can feel the ribs expanding to accept the breath, the muscles between them releasing. And then you are aware of the contraction, of the hugging of the breath out. Aware of the echo of the breath in the body. Not just in the upper chest. Where else do you feel the breath? What other place in the body? Can you feel it behind your cheekbones? With your next exhale, gather the belly. And using your hands on the earth, press into it, draw yourself up, and then over onto all fours. And maybe taking the time to, if you have a chair, to bring it to the top of your mat. Nice. And still using a blanket, if you're used to doing that, to pad your knees, place it in front of that chair so that you're comfortable. Maybe for you, placing it under your shins, under your ankles feels better. And then allow the chair to be close enough so that you can stack one arm on top of the other and rest your forehead. So that your hips are in the direction of your heels and you have a long spine, soft shoulders. There's still integrity to the pose so that you're not allowing the tailbone to lift and the lower back to arch. You're keeping the tailbone lengthened towards the heels without efforting to have a nice long back body. with a soft curve in the lower back. Does this feel good for you? Scan your body with the breath. Maybe this pose doesn't suit you, and you're going to find a different way to come into child pose. Or maybe you can find a way of propping, sitting on a block, or placing a block under your hips. Maybe just resting your forehead on the chair and not your hands or the backs of your arms. Move it around and then find a place that you can rest easily, peacefully in the stillness. A place where you can let go of the thoughts, of the voice that tugs at you, and just breathe. Maybe you'll find that with the exhales, there's a release, and you can soften into that pose. Allow the breath to move just a little deeper. Let go of the efforting and what you think the pose should look like or feel like, and just be with it as it is. One more round of breath here. And with your exhale, gather the belly and inhale up onto your knees. Hips and shoulders over the knees, and just take a roll through those shoulders. Big circles. Let that go. And forward a couple of times. And inhale, the shoulders shrug up to the ears, and exhale, they soften down the back. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Let's take a shoulder loop so that we inhale up. We draw them together, maybe overextending through the heart, and then draw the front ribs to the back and soften that activity. So the shoulders are working to the center of the back, but there's no efforting in the front body, right? With your inhale, allow the arms to extend, to reach towards the earth. And lengthen the ribs out of the hips. Lengthen through the entire back body, straight up through the crown of the head. With your inhale, the arms float out, around, and up. With your exhale, the hip creases reach back. Maybe your hands come to the chair. Inhale, float the arms out, around, and up. How does this feel on your knees and your back? Exhale. Hinge forward, slowly coming to the chair. Inhaling all the way up. It's the core that guides, that controls you, that brings you safely into that fold. Belly hugging in and up. Inhaling, last time. Lengthen. Exhaling, float down. Let those hands walk forward this time. Find a comfortable way to be in this extended child pose with your hands resting on the chair, perhaps. The arms are soft in the shoulder sockets. There's integrity to the pose. So the pit of the belly gathers in and up, and the hip creases reach back as you lengthen the ribs away from those hips. Take what you need, let go of the rest. Active child pose. You're actively working to extend and lengthen through the back body, to allow the breath to fill that space, to find the ease and the peace in this pose, and to use the breath to surrender into your expression of child pose. Exhale, gathering the belly, inhaling back up so that You're a little closer to the chair so that your hands, the palms of your hands rest flat on it. Soften the shoulder blades down the back. With your inhale, that right leg extends, we reach into, toes curl under, we reach into the heel. Gentle opening. Commit to that right arm. Inhale, lengthen through the left hand. Nice. There's a gentle curve to the back body. Shouldn't feel uncomfortable. So soften there. Maybe you have to bend that back leg more. Exhale, lower that down. Let the knees step forward. The left leg reaches back. The toes curl under. We reach into that heel. Find that opening. We inhale the heart away from the belly. Keep length in the front body. Soften the shoulders. Maybe that right arm can extend. Maybe not. How's the breath? The breath guides you, deeper or not. Just settle, let go of any expectations, letting that hand float to the chair and stepping that knee forward. We're going to step the right foot forward, curling the toes under of that back leg, straightening it as you press into the right and stepping it forward. Root into both feet and inhale all the way up to stand. Roll through those shoulders, big circles. Let's take a couple of half sun salutations to flow with the breath. With your inhale, the arms come out around and extend up. We root down, find the circumference of the heels. The arms are soft in the shoulder sockets. Rooting down to lengthen up. With your next exhale, soften the knees, hinge forward at the hips. Inhale, parallel to the earth. Exhale, root into the feet. Inhale, all the way up to stand. Exhale, heart center. You've done this before. As you inhale, you lengthen. The body has a memory. Can you slow it down to link the movement to the breath? Hinging forward, maybe bowing a little deeper, maybe straightening through the back of the knees with your exhales. Find the breath, soften the shoulders, root down. Inhale all the way up to stand. Exhale, heart center. Inhaling there, exhaling, hinging forward, allowing the hands to plant on that chair. Walking the feet back. So now they're in back of the hips. Root into that chair, maybe the edge of the chair. If it's on your mat, it won't slide, I hope, so that you can use it as a foundation. Reach the hip creases up and back and soften the head between the arms. Downward facing dog. So it's not a half forward fold. The hips, the heels and ankles are in back of the hips. Bicycle out the knees here. You can still work slowly, slowly with the breath. Moving with curiosity, the asymmetry in your body, exploring the right and left calf, back of the thigh. And then come to stillness here. Can you exhale, gather the belly, and inhale, reach the hip creases up and back to where the wall meets the ceiling. Can you allow the heart to melt a little more closer to the earth? Keeping that length. Letting the weight shift to the right leg. Exhale, And inhale, maybe that left leg lifts. Maybe a round of breath, both hips face the earth. Exhaling, left foot to the floor. Inhale, root to the chair, arms, let the weight shift to the left leg. Inhale, right leg extends. Round of breath, maybe. Honor your body, let it float back down. Inhale there, exhale, walk yourself up towards the chair, bend the knees, and inhale all the way up to stand. Find Tadasana, take a couple of rounds of breath there. Land in your foundation. Root to the circumference of the heels. Lengthen to the sky above you. Connect to the breath. Breathing into the front and back of the heart space. Are your inhales the same length as the exhales? Even out the breath. Nice. With your next inhale, the arms float again, out, around, and up. And with your exhale, swan dive forward. Palms of the hands come to the chair. Letting the weight shift into the right leg so we can step that left foot back. Heel comes all the way to the floor. Pause there. Find a comfortable way to have an easy foundation. Soften the shoulders down the back. The gaze is forward to the back of the chair, to the seat of the chair. The throat is open. Equal weight in both legs, and they're active without locking the knees. Take what you need, let go of the rest. With your exhale, maybe you draw that right hip crease back. Do you feel the sensation in that right side body? The right hip, hamstring. Find the breath. With your exhale, soften that right knee, step that left foot forward. Shake it out, let it go. We find the foundation again, allow the weight to shift over the left leg so that we can step that right leg back, right foot back. Flat on the floor, heel working back. Straight legs without locking the knees. Inhale there, long spine, we're parallel to the earth. Exhale, draw that right hip crease back. Maybe it doesn't go anywhere, but you're aware of the muscles that engage to keep the hips stable, to allow for an opening. Where do you feel it? IT band, outside the thigh, back of the thigh. How about the back of that right calf? Just noticing. Breathing with the sensation, surrendering to the pose. Letting go of expectations, of stories, of judgments. With your exhale, soften that left knee and step that right foot forward. Root down so that you can inhale and come all the way up to stand, and exhale, bring it to the heart center. Interlace the fingers to the webbing or make gentle fists and roll through those wrists. And reverse those circles. Let the backs of the hands come together. Soften through the shoulders. Just rolling forward and back. Working into those wrists. Nice. Shake it out. Let it go. Let's see where we are. Okay. Is it easy for you guys to move your chair to the long side of the mat? Otherwise, leave it where it is if you can just walk your feet wide and still be stable. Either on a mat or a carpet so that you're not going to slide, so that the legs of the chair are on the mat. I'm going to take my chair away because then you won't be able to see me in case you want to look. Walk the feet nice and wide, parallel to the edges of the mat. Pinky toe sides, yes. So nice and wide is relative to how your body feels. And then root to that foundation, engage the legs, gathering the muscles, pinky toe side from the inner thigh down to the feet. Soften the shoulders up, back, and down. Inhale, maybe there's some space as the ribs lengthen out of the hips. Exhaling, soften the knees a little bit and hinge forward from the hips. The hands come to that chair so that we use that foundation to root down, active shoulders, strong arms without locking the elbows, still rooting through the legs, the feet to the earth, belly gathering, inhaling, lengthening the heart away from the belly button. Letting the left hand walk underneath your heart or your face, whatever it seems to be, and inhale that left arm out to the side. Maybe the left hand's to center, right hand's on your hip or out to the side. The shoulder blade slides to the center of the back. We inhale, lengthen through the heart, and maybe exhale, open the heart to the right. Gentle twist. Maybe the arm extends and reaches up. Maybe you gaze over that shoulder. Breathing into that gentle twist. One more inhale, exhale, right hand to the chair. Root down into the support of the legs. Inhale, lengthen through the front body. The left arm extends. Maybe it comes to the lower back or the hip. Inhaling, shoulder blade slides to the center of the back, but no efforting. Exhaling there and inhaling, opening up the heart, but keeping that length through the front body. Rooting down to lengthen up. Maybe that left arm extends up. Maybe this side's different. Maybe you're gazing over the shoulder. Always different places to explore. If it doesn't feel right, you're backing out of it. With your next exhale, the hand floats down. Inhale there. Exhale, hands to hips, and inhale all the way up to stand. Heel toe, walk the feet together. Take some hip circles. Roll it out. And reverse it. Nice. Root down. You can stay facing long for now, or on the long side of the mat. Rooting down. We inhale the right arm alongside the ear. Find the foundation through the soles of the feet, the circumference of the heels. Soften that right arm in the shoulder socket. Maybe it floats to the back of your head as you bend the elbow. Maybe it floats all the way down. How's your shoulder? Inhale, lifting the ribs out of the hips. Exhale, floating over. Inhale, up to center. Exhale, long opening through the right side body. Long is relative, long for you. Next time you exhale over, find stillness there. Inhale, lengthen the ribs out of the hips. Exhale, maybe you have space to go a little deeper. Find the breath filling the ribs on the right side. No compression in the lower back, soft shoulders, they're stacked. Nice. Exhale there. Inhale all the way up. Float that arm down. Shake it out. Let it go. Find your Tadasana, the starting pose for our standing postures. Inhaling, left arm alongside your ear. Keep weight in that left leg. As you lengthen up, we have space to come over. Inhaling up to center. Exhale, root down, hinge over. Find the breath that links to the movement. Soften there. Coming to stillness, up and over to the right side, left side, whatever side you're on. And allow the breath to move into that space. Inhaling, ribs lift. Exhale, maybe you have space to move a little deeper. There is no right or wrong. What feels good for your body? Breath moves into that space. Exhale, the belly gathers. Inhale, all the way up. Let that go. We're taking the chair back to the top of the mat. Let me just see which way it has to point. Yeah. So that the seat faces you again. Let's do a little dancing warriors. Walking the feet nice and wide. Letting the right foot point to the top of the chair. Bottom of the chair, right? Nice. And then squaring the shoulders over the hips and lengthening straight up as you root down. Active legs, rooting to the earth. With your exhale, bending into that right knee. Inhaling, extending through the fingertips. Nice. Exhale, root down. Inhale, straighten that leg, arms float up. Exhale, float down. What do you notice? Can you keep a stacked spine? Shoulders over hips, and settle the hips straight down by bending into the knee. Nice. That knee works to draw to the room in back of you, opening up that inner thigh. Maybe one more round like this. Knee pointing to the first and second toe and settling in this warrior. Gazing over the fingertips of the right hand. Inhale, reaching forward. Exhale, hand floats to the chair. Right hand to chair, left hand to hips. Soften through the shoulders, they slide down the back. Inhale, lengthening the ribs. Exhale, heart floats to the ceiling. Gaze stays forward to the hand on the chair, or maybe over that left shoulder. What do you notice? Are you able to keep that sternum extended away from the belly button without efforting in the lower back? Strong legs. Inhale, maybe reaching, extending through the side, the left arm, sorry. Maybe for you, you can rotate that arm in front of you and bring it alongside your ear, extended side angle. What do you notice? Can you bring awareness back to that foundation? What happens in the flow? Do you lose the foundation? Exhale there. Inhale, reach through that left hand to come back into your warrior two. Float the hands down. Straighten through that right knee. Heel toe, step the feet together. Shake it out, let it go. Land in your Tadasana. Take a couple of rounds of breath here. Sip of water, whatever you need to do to bring yourself back to this moment. Let go of any expectations. This side's going to be different than the other side. So you have an idea of where you're going, but Be curious about it. Maybe you'll be able to do this side with a little more awareness. Let the breath guide you. Walk the feet nice and wide so that you feel safe and stable as you pivot the left foot to face the chair. I only offer suggestions, right? And then find that foundation, find that commitment to rooting to the earth, active legs. This keeps you stable. Inhale, the ribs lift and lengthen. Exhale, commit to that foundation. Inhale, arms extend. When you're ready, exhaling, hips straight down. Spine stays stacked, neither forward nor back. Beautiful. Nice. Notice, did your knee track to the first and second toe? Do you have a nice opening through the hips? Or are the muscles active that draw the knee out? Find the breath. Find the ease in the pose. Settle into it. Soften. Inhale. Lengthen one more time. Nice. Exhale, reach forward through the left hand, float it to the chair. Right hand comes to the hip. The alignment is the same. The spine is still stacked. The front body is long, heart away from belly. You're reaching into the pinky toe side of that left leg, your right leg, you're rooted to the left foot. With that support, you can inhale, lengthen the ribs out of the hips, long spine. Maybe that left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Maybe with your inhale, you're able to rotate the entire rib cage, the heart to the ceiling, shoulders stack more. Maybe you're gazing to the left hand, easier on your neck. Maybe straight ahead, maybe up to find that right thumb. Still rooted to the foundation. Breathe. Maybe you can inhale that right arm alongside your ear for an extended side angle. Did you lose the foundation again and the work of the core? Just come back into it. Nice. Exhale there. Inhale up through that right hand. Float the arms down. Straighten that left leg, heel toe, walk it back together. Let it go. Land in your Tadasana. Breath in, breath out. Land in the circumference of your heels. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Allow the breath to guide you into this mountain pose, into the connection through the feet to the earth that's always there to support you. The breath that lengthens you, that guides you to the vastness of the sky. And the wise heart that rests between the two. We can surrender to the wise heart, to our intuition, to the knowing. The back of the chair faces you. It can be at the either side of the mat, doesn't matter, whatever you feel comfortable if you want to be able to see the screen. Just so that you have the back of the chair for support. We're walking ourselves back so that the heel of the hand rests on the back of the chair and we're hinged forward at the hips. Half forward fold. The head floats between the arms are alongside the ears. We soften the knees so that we can exhale, reach those hips back to have a long spine. And then we breathe into this pose. Surrender to it. The throat is open, so we're not dropping the head. It's in alignment with the spine. Nice. Deeply bend the right knee, straighten through the left. Breathe a couple of rounds of breath there. And then we'll move to the other side, straightening the right, bending the left. Entire side body finds length. And then softening both knees. Exhale, gather the belly and the front ribs. Allow the weight to shift into the right leg or over the right leg to slide that left foot back. Draw that right hip crease back. Maybe you're keeping those left toes on the floor and you're rooting to that standing leg without locking the knee. Try pressing the quadricep, the top of the thigh back. Open up through those hamstrings. Maybe you can inhale that left leg straight and back with you. Maybe not today. Keeping both hips facing the earth, not lifting that left hip, but just the left leg. Surrendering to this pose, surrendering to your ego so that you honor your body and don't go past your edge. Where is your challenge today? Where do you find peace in the pose? With your next exhale, let that left foot come back down. Inhale yourself all the way up to stand. Take a break. Find the breath, let it go. What do you need to do to bring the body and breath back together? Nice. Inhale the arms out, around, and up. Exhale, we hinge forward so that the fingertips or the hands come to the back of that chair for support. Arms are in the shoulder socket. Belly gathers in and up, supporting the back body. The weight shifts over the left leg so that we can step slide that right foot back, curling the toes under. Maybe this is enough of a challenge. Strengthening that standing leg, that left leg, gathering the muscles and working to draw the left thigh, the left femur bone back. To open through those hamstrings, to strengthen. And maybe with your inhale, you're able to lift that right leg, reaching back through the heel and pressing the leg up. So that leg is active, or gravity's going to bring it back down. Find the breath, working in and out of it, coming to stillness in the pose. What do you notice? Inhale, the heart lengthens away from the belly. Keeping the front body open, the throat open. Exhale, that foot comes to the earth. And we inhale and come all the way up to stand again. Let it go and land in your Tadasana. Connect with the breath, maybe one hand on the heart center. Deep inhales, softening exhales. Stepping to the top of your mat with the chair facing you. Again, I only offer suggestions. We're going to use the chair in our sun salutes to come back down to the earth. The chair is a foundation. It enables us to have a foundation rooting to lengthen into, right? When we have that support, and we can grow from there. Just like when we root down through the circumference of the heels, we are able to inhale and lengthen through the crown of the head. With your next inhale, allow the arms to float out, around, and up if that suits you. Exhale, hinge forward, keep leading with the heart. Hands float to the chair. Inhale, find length there. Exhale, maybe you bend at the knees and reach the hips back. Root down, inhale, flow all the way up. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, we fold forward. Inhale there. Exhale, hip creases reach back, knees reach back, shins reach back. But the heart reaches forward. Nice, modified chair. Press into the feet. Inhale all the way up to stand. Exhale, heart center. This time we're floating up and diving forward. To inhale, find length, and exhale, bend one knee and then the other. Maybe walking a little closer to the chair so you can sit on the heels. Maybe you need a block under your hips or a blanket under your knees. And then finding a way to rest comfortably on the chair, so that the third eye makes contact with either stacked hands, forearms, the chair, walk. And the hip creases can reach back and down. And then use those exhales to surrender into the pose, to let go of all the efforting. At the same time, keeping the integrity. So there's also always some mindfulness, some intention. Let go of the suffering. Use the breath to soften. Inhale yourself up, let the hips come to one side and the feet walk out in front of you. Be close enough that the chair, you can reach the chair with your feet, so that when you lie down later, your feet will be at the edge of your mat. So you're halfway down your mat and you're rolling all the way down or coming to lie on the mat. Tucking the shoulder blades, walking the feet to hips distance. Exhale, drawing that right knee in for a hug, moving it around, rocking it side to side, forward, back. Extend the right hip away from the armpit. Exhale, root that sacrum to the earth. There should still be a gentle curve in the lower back. Can you allow that? And soften the ribs to rest on the earth. No efforting. With your inhale, that right leg extends straight up, move it around, maybe making circles, flexing the toes. Let go of the standing postures. And then crossing that ankle over the thigh. Allowing that right knee to soften away from you. Keeping equal weight in both hips. And maybe you're staying right here, breathing into that right hip. Softening into the pose. Maybe experimenting with exhaling, gathering the belly and lifting that left foot so that it can rest on the chair. Allowing you to come a little deeper into that right hip, or not. How does this feel? What do you notice? Use the exhales to soften, to let the ribs release to the support of the earth beneath you. Keeping that right foot flexed and breathing into the right hip. Maybe this doesn't feel good. You've brought yourself into a shape your body's not ready for, and you're finding a different way to be in the pose that works for you. Find the breath. Exhale there, float that left foot back to the earth. Inhale, extend that right leg again. And then float that foot to the floor. Exhaling, the sacrum roots to the earth and that left thigh draws in for a hug. And then it extends, move it around a little, sorry. Soften there and inhale, extend that left leg straight up. Work into the ankle if that feels good for you. What do you need to do? And then recommit to the sacrum. Soften through the ribs, crossing that left ankle over the right thigh. Maybe this side's a little different. Sacrum and shoulders resting on the earth. Ribs floating a little closer. Back ribs softening to the earth. Letting go of the efforting. With your exhale, the pit of the belly gathers. Maybe that right foot lifts. Maybe it rests on the chair. Keeping that left foot flexed. Not forcing anything, just allowing. Maybe a different shape, maybe not today. You never know until you try. And then move with the breath to surrender the pose. Aware of the front ribs, maybe popping up, softening them to the earth. Allow the back body to rest, to lengthen all the way into the hip, maybe the outer thigh. With your exhale, the belly gathers, that right foot floats back down to the earth if you've lifted it, and the left foot comes back down. Finding your reclined windshield wiper, walking the feet wide and allowing the knees to float side to side. Working into the lower back, allowing the breath to guide you. Nice. Let the feet stay the width of the mat and allow the knees to fall together. Maybe the arms open up into T or cactus. Let the chin tuck a little closer to the notch in the collarbone. Shoulder blades flat on the floor beneath you. And then release into the support of the earth. Allow the back body to heavy into it, to let go of all the efforting. And the breath fills the space. And use the breath as the anchor to come back to this moment, to be aware of the breath in the body, to be aware of the breath filling the space surrounding you. No control, your rhythm, your body. In this moment, nowhere to go, nothing to do. What sensations are you aware of without attaching to them or creating a story? Just noticing. Gently using the breath to soften. With your next inhale, the knees float up over the ankles, the feet walk back to hips distance. And with your exhale, draw one knee and then the other in for a hug. Maybe the lower back flattens to the earth without forcing it. Does it feel different than the start of practice? Maybe rocking side to side, maybe rolling. Reversing circles if you're taking circles. Gentle massage. Exhale, knees come a little closer to the chest and maybe wide alongside the ribs. Clasping in back of the knees so that you can lift the soles of the feet to the ceiling. Happy baby. Shoulders are flat on the floor. Knees to the outside of the ribs. Feet towards the ceiling. Maybe this is where you stay. Maybe you can walk your hands up to your calves or your shins, but still there's no efforting in the shoulders and no efforting in the back body. And maybe you're able to rock from side to side. Maybe not. Maybe you're resting in the stillness and surrendering to the pose, to opening up the hips. Your body, your practice. And then finding stillness there, allowing the knees to come together for another hug. And then they stack over the hips. The arms float out in T and one knee and then the other floats over to the side. Making contact with the earth, maybe propping, extending from fingertip to fingertip in this final spinal twist. Maybe gazing to the fingertips opposite the knees. Lengthening that left hip away from the armpit, or the top hip away from the armpit. Allowing the breath to move into that space. Bringing awareness to the back body. With your exhale, can you soften the entire back body? Maybe that means it actually comes a little closer to the earth, that gravity draws you a little closer. So that the twist isn't as deep, but you're not efforting. You've let go of all the efforting and you're finding the peace. With your next inhale, gazing up to the ceiling, exhaling, one knee and then the other, up over the hips and then to the other side. And then finding an easy way to rest in this pose on this side. As you soften to release the shoulders to the earth, to allow the hip to float away from the armpit, finding that length. Breath moving into that space. Gazing to the fingertips opposite the knees, or not. And then bringing awareness to the back body as you inhale, allow the back body to expand. As you exhale, let go. Maybe that means you come a little closer to the earth, less of a twist. Letting go of all the efforting. There's a freedom in the surrendering. letting go of the effort and just being in the pose. Whether it's surrendering to a moment of difficulty or a moment of joy, surrendering the results of our actions, or simply learning to trust in the universe a little more, each time we do choose to surrender, we move closer to freedom. Just being in the moment. With your exhale, the belly gathers. With your inhale, the knees come up over the hips. Give yourself a little hug. And then finding a comfortable way, an easy way to be in Shavasana. Maybe you'd like to have your lower legs up on the chair if it's accessible. I don't know what kind of chair you have. Some chairs are too high for the length of your legs, so you have to put a blanket under your hips, or maybe you're just lying flat on the floor, but coming into Shavasana. Taking those final movements and then preparing for stillness. To rest and release into the body, the balance of the breath, the quiet of the thoughts. To allow the body to absorb the practice. With your exhale, surrendering into the earth beneath you. Allowing the body to become heavy. Aware of the breath and the natural rhythm in your body. Using the exhales to soften the space between the eyes, to allow the eyes to rest into the back of the head. The forehead melts to the earth, and all the muscles surrounding the eyes soften and release. The jaw softens. Tongue slips away from the roof of the mouth and the lips softly meet. And with your exhale, all the muscles in the face melt towards the earth. The earth inviting you to rest. We surrender to that invitation. As we breathe into the wings of the heart. And we use that breath as our anchor to allow the thoughts to be quiet. The body to rest in this restorative pose. So the breath can bring new life and energy. So the prana can move up and down the energy channels. Creating space to just be. Yoga holds space for us. We create space in the practice. We create space for the and. We can move beyond or, this or that, And we can rest in the and. To be aware of the anger and the love, of the hope and the fear, of the grief and the blessing, of the angst and the courage. Let go of any expectation of what should or shouldn't be. To find compassion for ourselves and be okay with the and. So that when we trip and fall, we fall in the direction we want to go. We get up and we start again. Compassion for the and. Surrendering our ego. Surrendering to the discomfort. Surrendering our thoughts so that we can be in the present. Knowing that we are the very best we can be in this moment. Surrendering to the experience as it unfolds in front of us. Using the breath to bring us back to rest in the moment. Holding space for the and, for the choices. Forgiving yourself for the times your choice was not so wise. Forgiving yourself for losing the breath and getting lost in the thoughts. We begin again to breathe. And with this breath comes an awareness of the felt experience in the body. All that lives in our body. Become aware of choices. We forgive ourselves, we find compassion. We make wise choices. We practice using our yoga to bring awareness to the mind, to the body, to our spirit. To surrender to whatever's there. And then move forward. Recognizing that the past influences us, but doesn't have to grip us. To move forward towards a horizon that we don't know, and it doesn't matter. Just being in the moment. Resting in this moment for a few more rounds of breath. And even in this Shavasana, there is integrity to the pose. There is an awareness of the support of the earth, beneath you and the vast sky above you, and the wise heart that rests between the two. Gently deepening your inhales and exhales, aware of the earth beneath you, aware of the space surrounding you. Slowly bringing your body back from stillness with small, gentle movements. With your inhale, maybe the arms extend. And with your exhale, they float to a comfortable position. As you bend one knee and then the other to step the feet softly onto the earth. Transitioning here, feeling more awake and alert with every inhale. Just noticing what your practice has given to you today. Using your arm as a pillow, rolling over to one side or the other. Allowing the breath to fill the heart space, front and back. Resisting the urge to open your eyes, keeping them softly closed if that suits you. Press into the earth, walk yourself up, draw yourself up into a comfortable, easy, peaceful, seated position. With your inhale, the arms extend, and with your exhale, we float the palms together to rest at the heart center. And I'll end with a blessing written by John O'Donohue, a poem called Blessing. On the day when the weight deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance to balance you. When your eyes freeze behind the gray window and the ghost of loss gets into you, may a flock of colors, indigo, red, green, and azure blue come to awaken in you a meadow of delight. When the canvas frays in the current of thought and a stain of ocean blackens beneath you, may there come across the waters a path of yellow moonlight to bright you safely home. May the nourishment of the earth be yours. May the clarity of the light be yours. May the fluency of the ocean be yours. May the protection of the ancestors be yours. And so may a slow wind work these words of love around you, an invisible cloak to mind your life. We lift our hearts and we bow our heads to honor that perfect light that shines in all of us, uniting us. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. Namaste.